Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It is Jessica M. Harris here, and I'm super pumped and excited to just be here with each of you. I know I've been missing in action a little bit. My voice has been having a healing moment for sure. If I talk a bit too high, it sounds as though it's not quite there. So as my voice is recovering and healing, I just wanted to come on and really just say, hey, what's going on to everybody? Welcome to the channel, to all the new and returning subscribers. And I wanted to just go ahead and just share this piece of information with y'all. What was on my heart yesterday, I was like, oh my goodness, it's amazing to watch how you can shift so quickly sometimes from one season into your next season. And as you shift, you may have to close some doors, right? Some chapters may have to close. Now, for those of you who've been following my journey, you know that I was in Texas and that God had brought me all the way up to the East Coast. Well, when I went up to the East Coast, I was able to actually get a job. And y'all know the first time around, I wasn't able to get like a regular job. I was able to still like earn income through like contract work from before, but I hadn't been like at a regular 9-to-5 job since the pandemic took place. So really like being full-fledged in this 9-to-5 over the last several months was definitely like an adjustment for me. But I wanted to share this part with you because when I first started that journey at that job, I loved it. I liked it. It was cool. It was interesting. But something about it just didn't quite feel like, I don't know, is this where I'm supposed to stay or is this temporary? And I remember kind of just going back and forth with God on it a lot. And in the midst of me going back and forth, God really wanted me to change my perspective on the job and how I saw myself there, and really to just embrace what he was teaching me while I was there, and not to get so caught up on like the things that I wasn't too sure about, like, you know, the longevity of it and all these other pieces, but really to just, you know, gain the knowledge, gain the information as it comes and as it becomes available unto me, to really just take heed of it and just to be a good representation of him there. And when I started to let go of my expectations of what I thought that job was going to be like, when I started to let go of, you know, how I thought things were going to go and whatnot, I really started to see God move differently in me at that job. Even so much so that other people started to see the growth. I was able to see growth. My clients that I was working with, I was able to be more attentive to them in a way that made me more effective at my job. And it wasn't that I wasn't effective beforehand, but I wasn't able to see what benefits I was really offering because I had so many questions about their structure. But when I started to let go of my concept of how things should be run, and I started to embrace the pieces, I really started to see how God was using me there, and how pieces that were not there before were now starting to be implemented because of questions that I had asked, because of things that I had brought up, because of the way that I was able to present them differently to the team that I was on. And it's just amazing to watch and to see like God will use you in any given situation. It just may not look the way that you anticipated it. See, when I got to that job, I could see a lot of things that needed to be corrected or shifted or changed or like adjusted. And I went in thinking that, okay, perfect. Well, maybe that's what I'm here for, right? And I was quickly turned down on that part because the grace to do it the way that I thought it would be done wasn't quite there. And it wasn't that God wasn't moving in whatever was taking place, but it just wasn't taking place in the ways in which I thought it should, right? God had other plans. There was other pieces at play that I had no idea about. And I needed to be patient, not only with, you know, God, but even with myself in the learning part and the adjusting part, right? Again, I hadn't been in a regular 9-to-5 job environment. A lot of the jobs and contract work I've done was for myself, right? I'm also an entrepreneur, so I'm doing things again for myself. So having like a boss or like a manager, right, above me was like, oh, we're back to this again. But it was okay, right? But I could see where I needed to learn how to follow the structure and allow God to shine through where it was needed. So anyways, I share all of this to say that, well, there's two pieces. So one piece I share for you guys regarding all of this is the fact that sometimes God will place you in a place. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily permanent. But if you are there temporarily or however long God has you there, embrace that journey of it and allow him to show you what he wants to show you and to use you in the ways that he deems is beneficial to use you. You never know who's paying attention and whose life is being changed by you simply being yourself and being that representation of who God is calling you to be. So that's one part. The other part that I wanted to go ahead and mention is that also, as those places may be something that's seasonal and not necessary for the long haul, know when God is closing a door and closing a chapter. For me, that chapter closed this week. That job is no longer the place that God has me in. And I'm grateful because I know that there's more and I know that God is doing something different. But I wanted to share that part because sometimes when it comes to leaving a job or leaving a place or leaving relationships or leaving people, it can seem really hard. It can seem taxing, right? It can even seem suddenly in some cases. But however it is, I just want you to embrace and knowing that if God is closing a door or if God is removing you up and out of a situation, it's because there's something better that he has for you. So don't get stuck on a door. I remember that there's been doors of jobs and other things that I've tried to keep open. Y'all have heard me talk about that with my relationship. I've done that with other jobs. And no matter how much I tried to wedge my foot on the inside of it, God made it clear that this door is shutting. And it's shutting because there's another door that I want to open unto you. But before that door can fully open, I need this one to be closed. I need this one to be shut because I need you to be focused on where I'm positioning you, right? On where he's taking you. And simply even just focusing on him honestly as well. Not in this place here, but just in general, right? And I say this from the stance that sometimes God will shut down a job. He's done it with me because maybe I've put more, for me, I'm speaking about myself here, but I'm saying in general as well, that maybe you've put so much of yourself into that job that you've lost that time with God. God will shut a thing down as well. So this way you can spend that dedicated time with him the ways in which he's calling you to. So that's another thing. God did that with me when I was working on my other job back during the pandemic. He shut things down everywhere, like everything that I was doing, from Uber to my job to everything in between. He shut it all down. And he just wanted me to be focused on him. So sometimes there's seasons where it's gonna look like that. And then sometimes there's seasons where God is saying that I'm shutting it down because I'm opening up another opportunity. So I just want to share this because there may be those of you who are in different seasons, right? None of us are in the same season per se, but we're all going through a season of some sort. Just know the season that you're in and ask God about it. Ask him to show you what it is that he's doing. Ask him to show you what it is that he wants you to learn. Ask him to show you what it is that he wants you to gain from those experiences. Because as you begin to let go of the old, you're surely going to be able to walk into your new. But God doesn't want the residue of that past season. He doesn't want the residue of the old stuff to hinder you or to block you or to stagnate you from receiving your new. So you're gonna have to go through that processing. Sometimes it's a grieving, depending on what that looks like. It may be short, it may be long, it may be, it takes time. It may be real fast in a quick hurry, right? It just depends. And God is God, so he can do it any which way. But also, when I say that, sorry. I know I feel like I'm babbling, but I just want y'all to understand that even when he does that part too, it can change. So say in one season, you did it in a quick, fast hurry. And another season, he may take his time. And another season, your grieving may literally just be like oh, all right, thank you, God. And then you keep pushing. Why? Because God is always working. He's always working through you. So don't get discouraged, right? Don't think that you're not, where you need to be, unless you really aren't. Then that's different, right? We all need to get to our there. But do be encouraged that God is doing a great and mighty work in you. And as long as you're adhering to the Lord and staying in relationship with him, staying in prayer with him, that your steps are being ordered by him, that that he's leading you to where he's taking you, you're going to get to exactly where you need to be and more. So that is it for today's conversation with Jess. I may be back with another one later on. I'm not quite sure, but I did want to offer that to you all, and peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Please pray for my healing as well with this voice. That's why I haven't been on as much this last few weeks, the last week or two, just because trying to catch this healing, y'all. Yes, this voice is needing the healing. So prayers for sure is most definitely received on that part there. And I just appreciate each and every one of you just following along and staying in tune. So peace and blessings, and I will be back for more. Bye for now.